The playground is the place where all the kids gather for recess, but have you noticed the patterns of the characters? All of them are the same age throughout the entire series. I will explain this to you. Third Street School was built in the late 1930s. TJ was among the first students to attend. He was always proven to be a strong leader, running for fourth grade president in 1938, just as the world was plunging into World War II. However, the principal at the time was making budget cuts on certain lunch items. Attempting to lead a revolt, TJ was hit by a police car during a student walkout in 1939. TJ's spirit still lives on through the playground, teaching kids how to stand up for their rights. Mikey soon transferred to the school after TJ's death, starting the first grade in the 1939/40 school year. Mikey was always hungry, demanding food. However, he was a kind and gentle person, causing no harm to the students around him. In 1941, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Feeling depressed, he ate an insane amount of chocolate bars to cope with his disease. He went into a diabetic coma in 1942 and died later that year of a heart attack at the age of 9. Mikey still walks the playground, fat as ever and hungry as ever. Spinelli began attending in 1943, a school year after Mikey's death. Always trying to act the tough one, Spinelli would converse with the ghosts of TJ and Mikey and share with them her experiences. Spinelli died in a fight in 1946 during her second repeat of the fourth grade. She now hangs with the rest of the gang, acting as the group's bodyguard. Randall started at Third Street School in 1954 with dreams of becoming a reporter. He often worked as the snoop for the school principal and King Bob, despised by the gang, especially Spinelli. Randall one day caught a random bystander assaulting a second grader in 1956 and told the principal this was a different principal than the one from the 40s. Furious, the bystander shot Randall after invading his house a few nights later. He was struck in the head and killed instantly. Randall is still known as Third Street's best snitch. Gus began school in 1961. He was often quiet and kept to himself. He conversed with TJ, Spinelli, and Mikey a lot, as the ghosts were his only friends. He was often a target of the playground bullies. One fateful night in 1963, Gus was walking home from school in tears, covered in dirt and blood. He had been beaten by the playground bullies the previous day, and his parents had forgotten to pick him up. Gus collapsed on the sidewalk at the front of his house as he was trying to walk towards the door. He died on New Year's Day, 1964. Gus is viewed as the nerdy kid of the group, often keeping to himself and avoiding dirt and filth. When the Taylors began school in 1968, the Ashleys were already in the school, living the dream as the top-notch fourth graders. Both groups were often despised by the rest of the kids on the playground. One night, while the girls were having a sleepover and the boys were having a game night, both coexisting that night, a serial killer broke into the Ambrewster mansion and murdered the Ambrewsters, Willen children, Tomasa children, and the Bullet children. The killer was eventually captured by police in early 1969. The Ashleys and the Taylors still roam the playground, acting like the big people on campus. Gretchen came to Third Street in 1972. She was shown as the intelligent one of the group, winning the Science Award every year until Becky Benson stole her project in 1975. Gretchen went home that day on a mad rampage. In her anger, she committed suicide via gunshot to the head. She's still the more intelligent of the ghosts in the group, and is even willing to tutor her friends when the time calls for it. Diggers Sam and Dave attended Third Street School a while after Gretchen's death, beginning in 1978. Both boys had always been interested in digging. In the summer of 1981, they became caved in whilst exploring an old coal mine. They never got out and died approximately 2 weeks after being trapped. They dig near the school playground, afraid that digging outside the school ground will cause them to lose their lives in the afterlife. Vince, who was the last to join the gang, attended the school in 1988, just as the crazy 80s were coming to a close. Vince worked on his basketball career, often dreaming of making the NBA, inspired by the famous NBA stars of the time. One day in 1992, he tripped and broke his leg. After going to a doctor, he was told that he wouldn't be able to play basketball anymore. Devastated by this, Vince attempted to take his own life in 1993. As a result, he was sent to an insane asylum, where he died in 1996. Vince plays a wide variety of sports in the afterlife, as the protagonist gang of the ghosts was finally completed upon Vince's death. King Bob is known as the king of the playground. After winning class president of the 4th grade in 2001, King Bob was always a fair ruler. After going crazy with power, the 4th grade body led a group to tat. King Bob was not allowed to run for president during the 2002/03 school year. As a result, he murdered the entire student body in one night by breaking into their houses and stabbing them to death. He was sent to a juvenile detention facility in the fall of 2002 and stayed there until he was killed by another prisoner in 2009 at the 5th Street Correctional Facility at the age of 19. Due to these tragedies caused by the 3rd Street School playground, the school was shut down and deserted in the summer of 2010, with the last of the 5th graders leaving in 2009 on the 70th anniversary of the death of TJ. However, this did not affect the school playground, nor its current residents. The ghosts of the fallen children still frolic and play on the playground of what was 3rd Street School, as if it never shut down.